Pete Carroll out as the Seattle Seahawks head coach. So Ron Rivera, defensive coach, out. Mike Vrabel, defensive coach, out. Pete Carroll, defensive coach, out. Brandon Staley, defensive coach, out. Bill Belichick, defensive legend, probably out. We've been talking about this. I think Pete's a really good coach. Great energy, great detail. Why is the offensive line under Pete for a decade there been an issue? These defensive coaches, they have drafted that O-line very well. Secondly, the defense wasn't good. It got bad. And so, they've got personnel. Seattle does not have a lot of holes. Good corners, good weapons, good tackles, excellent running backs. I think they underachieved. Sean McVay, in a rebuilding year, beat him twice. Seattle has a better roster than the Rams. Absolutely. They only have Aaron Donald and a bunch of kids. Ernest Jones, pretty good. So I think you start looking at it, and again, I think Pete's got great energy. There are reports, Ian Rappaport says, don't be shocked if he stays in the organization upstairs. They're saying Dan Quinn would be considered to be a head coach. But again, Dan Quinn is a defensive coach. His only success in the NFL was based on Kyle Shanahan being his coordinator. Before him and after him, he wasn't elite. He was kind of sputtering around. So I tend to think Ben Johnson is one of the better candidates. Jim Harbaugh, offensive-leaning guys. But I've been on this for 3 years now. Somebody's listening. Rivera, Belichick, Pete, Vrabel, Staley. Now, that doesn't mean, and Tomlin gets a lot of heat in Pittsburgh, that doesn't mean if a defensive coach has a star quarterback, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, you can't win a Super Bowl. That's not it. But one of the things I've struggled with, Pete's insistence that Geno Smith was good enough. Shanahan moved off Garoppolo, McVay moved off Goff, and they got to Super Bowls. Geno's not going to sniff a Super Bowl. Defensive coaches, we said before the season, is Ron Rivera going to stay with Sam Howell? What? My contention is defensive coaches, their mindset is you win with a run game, defense, and very few mistakes. And my takeaway is Josh Allen had 3 turnovers against Miami. They won. That is old line thinking. Matt Stafford throws picks. Josh Allen throws picks. Mahomes makes mistakes. You got to score. The league has changed. The world's changed. I think Pete's a really good coach. I think he's a coaching legend. He's a Jimmy Johnson, 2 Super Bowls. Pete's you get Hall of Fame votes. He's a very, very good coach. But I do think the world is changing, and defensive coaches do not do as well sensing the urgency at quarterback, developing quarterbacks, improving O-lines. What Sean McVay has done with the Rams O-line is nothing short of remarkable by simply drafting a guard. The Rams upgraded guards. That offensive line's top 10 in the league according to PFF. Top 10, top 11. Seattle's is 30th, and they've drafted elite tackles. So I think defensive coaches, sometimes you're in a business, and the business gets real techy, or it gets real young, or it gets real unique, and you're not ready for it. And nobody's saying that. I think Vrabel's a great coach. I think Pete's a great coach. I think Belichick's a legend. But the culture has changed. You have to get O-line play. You have to get quarterback play. Now, Pete's not tone deaf to it. I think Belichick is. I don't think Vrabel's tone deaf to offense. I just don't think he has any feel for it. I don't think Pete's tone deaf to offense. I don't think he has a great feel for it. The Seahawks have made it official. They're moving on from Pete Carroll. Again, I think he gets Hall of Fame votes. He's got great energy. He's got great knowledge. He's excellent with detail. I think he's like Jimmy Johnson, very good with personnel most of the time. There's a lot to say about Pete I like. Amicably agreed to part ways. He'll remain, said the Seahawks, with the team as an advisor. So they're going to pay him 7 figures to stick around. Yeah, or let his contract, though. I would love to have Pete in the building. By the way, the University of Washington, Chris Peterson stepped down as coach. They kept him in the building because they're like, Chris Peterson's super smart. We want his eyes and the ears in the building. So the Huskies have had success taking this brilliant coach, just keeping him in the athletic department. He works at Fox. I'd love to have Pete in the building. I want Pete's eyes and ears and experience. I think he's a great coach. But there are different times in life. I think Seattle's roster is really good. Let's bring somebody on who saw the Seahawks roster.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.